Zion Williamson. The name alone sounds powerful, and fittingly so. He's been called the next LeBron, a generational athlete, and a human highlight reel. Ever since he exploded onto the basketball scene, Zion's been one of the most electrifying players of this millennium. The first pick of the 2019 NBA draft, a physical force of nature, and one of the most hyped prospects since LeBron James himself. But beyond the dunks, the hype, and the headlines, there's a lot more to Zion than most fans realize. So today, we're breaking down 7 things you didn't know about Zion Williamson. Stories that reveal just how unique, determined, and one-of-a-kind this young superstar really is. That's right. Before Zion became a basketball phenom, he could have been a football star. If you've ever seen Zion in person, you know, the man is built like a tank. Standing 6'6" and weighing around 285 pounds, his combination of strength and speed is almost unreal. Football coaches across the country took notice, even though Zion never played organized football. In fact, LSU actually offered him a football scholarship after watching him play basketball. One of their coaches said he was the best high school tight end they've ever seen, and that was just by watching him move on a basketball court. The wild part? Zion's high school didn't even have a football team. So, despite his natural build for the gridiron, destiny clearly had other plans. Had he chosen football, we might be talking about the NFL's #1 pick instead of the NBA's. But instead, the world got one of basketball's most dominant young stars. It's not every day that LeBron James gets turned away from somewhere, but Zion Williamson made that happen. Back in high school, Zion's games were absolute chaos. He was a viral sensation, with thousands packing into every gym just to watch him dunk. So when LeBron tried to attend one of Zion's AAU games, a matchup between Zion's team and LaMelo Ball's, he was denied entry. Why? Because the gym was already way over capacity. The crowd was so massive that it became a security risk. Even LeBron James, the biggest star in basketball, couldn't get inside. It was probably the first time in a decade LeBron had ever been denied entry to a basketball game, and it was because of a high school kid. That's how huge Zion's hype was before he ever touched an NBA court. Before Zion even played his first professional minute, he was already set for life. As the #1 overall pick in 2019, he signed a 4-year, $44 million contract with the New Orleans Pelicans. But the real money came from his shoe deal. Every major brand wanted him. Nike, Adidas, Puma, Under Armour. The bidding war was intense. But in the end, the Jordan brand won, signing Zion to a $75 million deal over 5 years. That made it the second largest shoe deal ever for a rookie, only behind LeBron's $100 million Nike contract back in 2003. But because Zion's deal was for fewer years, it actually became the largest annual shoe deal in history at the time, over $15 million a year. Not bad for a teenager who hadn't even played a regular season game yet. When Zion played for Duke, the world watched. Literally. He was such a massive attraction that CBS introduced something called the Zion Cam during March Madness, a dedicated camera that followed him the entire game, just to capture every move he made. Even Barack Obama showed up to watch him play. That's how big the Zion effect was. And then there was the shoe incident. During a game against North Carolina, Zion's Nike sneaker exploded, causing a knee injury and sparking a massive media storm. It raised huge questions about whether college athletes should be paid, especially considering how much money Zion was generating for the NCAA. Many believe his impact was one of the reasons states like California passed laws allowing college athletes to profit from their name and image. So, while he was just playing basketball, Zion was actually changing the rules of the game. Literally. Most players grow steadily through high school. Zion didn't. He exploded. As a freshman, he was 6'3" and around 175 pounds. 2 years later, he was 6'7" and over 270 pounds and still moving like a guard. He gained nearly 100 pounds of muscle without losing any speed or agility. His athleticism actually improved. That kind of growth is unheard of. He was jumping higher, moving faster, and dominating bigger players with ease. By his junior year, highlight mixtapes of his dunks were everywhere. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. A man that big flying through the air like a wing player. Even in the NBA, Zion's strength and explosiveness remain unmatched. As one commentator put it, if you tried to take a charge from Zion, you'd probably see your life flash before your eyes. You've heard of athletes breaking records, but have you ever heard of one breaking the machine? When Zion was at Duke, coaches wanted to measure his vertical jump using a device with adjustable metal bars that athletes try to hit. But when he jumped, he hit every single bar, all the way to the top. The staff then tried to raise the machine by putting weights under it, but he cleared that too. Eventually, they had to estimate his vertical at 46 inches, which would tie the highest vertical jump ever recorded in NBA draft combine history. That kind of athleticism explains how he can dunk from impossible angles and hang in the air like he's defying gravity. Zion didn't just beat the test, he broke it. Most NBA players talk about how their parents inspired them, but for Zion, his mom literally coached him. During middle school, his mom, Sharonda Sampson, was his basketball coach. And according to Zion, she was tougher than anyone he's ever played for. He once said, "Hardest coach I ever had to this day. A good game in her book is almost impossible." She demanded perfection, pushing him to stay disciplined, humble, and focused. That kind of foundation is a big part of why Zion became who he is today. And clearly, it worked, because he grew into one of the most dominant rookies in NBA history. Zion Williamson's story isn't just about dunks, stats, or highlight reels. It's about impact. He's a once-in-a-generation athlete whose power, charisma, and influence stretch far beyond basketball courts. From being offered football scholarships he never needed, to changing NCAA rules, to signing record-breaking deals before his first pro game, Zion's journey is a testament to talent meeting destiny. Sure, injuries have slowed him down at times, but when Zion is healthy, he's unstoppable, a mix of brute force and grace that few players in history can match. And the best part? He's still just getting started. Because if there's one thing we've learned about Zion Williamson, it's this. You can measure his height, his weight, even his vertical jump, but you can't measure his potential.